What's going on, guys? It's me, Vicstar123, coming back with some Team Throwing Knife gameplay. Really happy about this one because I know you guys enjoy Team Throwing Knife gameplay, so when I put it out I know I must be doing something right. I mean, that's the buzz I get from it. That's absolutely great when I get the good responses from you guys. When people seem to enjoy it, that's what I'm doing, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something right, because there are times when I'm like, what the heck am I doing at this video gaming thing? But anyway, the gameplay in a nutshell, my accuracy was on, but I'd say just the game was quite, as a whole, we were quite unlucky throughout the game with the kill streaks the enemies pulled off, that kind of stuff. The fact that some of the players on their team were quite good and then some were quite bad. So you had that contrast, then you had the high skilled players calling in kill streaks, making our lives really hard. Situations, I think there were a lot of situations where I found there wasn't much else I could have done in the situation, because, you know, every so often I watch a gameplay back and I'm like, oh man, I could have done so much better in that situation, that was horrible, failed there, and then I just decide to delete the gameplay then and there and not actually use it. But this one, I actually thought it was going to be like that, but actually it turns out in most of the situations I think I handled them quite well. But as always, let me know what you guys thought about that, drop a comment and I'll look forward to reading that. The feedback is great, as always. If you can't be bothered to do that, then a like would be much appreciated. But anyway, let's get into what we got going on here. So yeah, Team Throwing Knife gameplay, and actually yesterday was my first session back at swimming training. As some of you may know, I end up doing swimming training. It's supposed to be 5 nights a week, but usually I only manage 4 just because of the amount of other stuff I have to get done. But yeah, the sessions are either an hour or 2 hours, so there's 2 2-hour sessions, 1 hour-and-a-half session, and then 2-hour sessions, and I try and get to all of them. But anyway, first session back after 3 weeks off. So for 3 weeks we've not been training over Christmas, and eating chocolate over Christmas, not really doing anything, just sat around. Going back to training was a shock for all of us. To be honest, it wasn't that bad for me, but for some people you could tell they were really struggling. One of my friends is actually at a much higher level than me, so he's been training over Christmas, so he was absolutely running laps around us. But it's interesting how, you know, such a short amount, how much fitness you can lose over such a short amount of time. I mean, I've been trying to do, you know, a bit of general fitness kind of stuff, but it is, you know, when you're not obliged to doing it, then it is really hard, because that's one of the great things I find about swimming. Although it's kind of a boring sport, you're just going up and down for ages, just swimming up and down. What I do find is that it's something, you know, I can zone out while I'm doing it, and, you know, it gives me time to sort out what's going on. Just a bit of, you know, it just even like doing a 20-minute set, just going up and down for 20 minutes, and it just gives you time to sort everything over and make decisions, because often, you know, I find on days when I don't go training, that all happens when I've like, when I'm trying to go to sleep, I'll have all this stuff running around my head, and it won't let me sleep. But if I've been training before, because it is, it's in the evenings, so it is a really great thing to do. I much prefer doing exercise training in the evening, not too shortly before I want to sleep, but it does help. I used to have to get up on Saturday mornings to do trainings and absolutely hated that, just mornings. In fact, it was quite good because you were up and kind of ready to go earlier, but at the same time it was just waking up in the mornings was just the worst thing ever. So yeah, that is the main physical activity I do. I used to play football, or soccer as the Americans call it, but what I found is that it clashed with my swimming training. I must admit I was never that good at it, so I just thought, right, well, I'll go to this swimming training session instead of going to football training. But swimming has become quite a lot of nights, but actually it is still really enjoyable because most of my best friends are at the same swimming club as me, and it's the same people I went to London with, so for 3 full days we were just chilling around in London. Really awesome stuff. And yeah, I think it's great. One thing I've noticed that is quite interesting is the kind of stereotype for gamers is kind of unhealthy, overweight, spends ages sat at a desk or on a sofa just playing games. And I'm going to go into this a little more on maybe another commentary, but one thing I've noticed is a lot of the gamers, especially the ones that I encounter, competitive or YouTube gamers, are in really good physical health. Most of us actually, you know, most of them I've noticed, with the exception of 1 or 2, I'm sure you can name them yourselves, but you know, in the majority it's just normal people. So I think that stereotype is really wrong. And oh my god, this bit here, I was unlucky that I got dropped down, but I grabbed the knife and just kind of jump into him, just slam that knife into his face. Absolutely loved that play there. That was one of the reasons that made me decide I wanted to use this gameplay, because here at the end you can probably tell how determined I was. Some of you may have been watching this game on the live stream, but if you can just see how aggressively I'm playing, and I'm actually getting that accuracy on. I was just so determined to pull off the win, but hey, one-man armying, it doesn't always work out, and maybe I should have been a little more defensive. Got taken out by that chopper a few more times than I should have done, so yeah, I think I'll go into that stereotypes thing a little more on a different commentary if you guys would like, and that is the gameplay. So I thought it was fairly consistent, got a nice amount of kills, not too many deaths, and a decent amount of assists too. There's the right shield, failing it up. Thanks for watching guys, likes and favourites are much appreciated.